We are live. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Boxing Fanatico live show. Today we got a special one. We're going to give our official prediction today, of course, for the Sonny Edwards versus Bam Bam Rodriguez fight. But I put up my pound for pound list yesterday, and it seems like this is a very hot, debatable topic. Let's go ahead and bring up my face right quick. What is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for showing up. Episode 86 as we continue and push to episode 100. Of course, we got to start off with the man, the myth, the legend, Hashim 47. And to christen the show, as we always do, we need Michael Buffer to hit us off with the Let's Get Ready to Rumble. Go ahead, Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Let's get ready to rumble. Hold on. Let me see what you guys are saying. Anthony Murchison, what's going on, brother? David Morales, sup, Fanatico? You watching the Jake Paul fight tonight? I don't know. I might not. I'm on the fence. Maybe. You know what? Maybe. I probably will watch the fight. I probably will. Yeah, I won't be live for it, but I probably. What time does it start? Does it start at 8 o'clock? I got to figure that out. Las Vegas Brawls, what's going on, brother? Welcome to the show. If you missed the waiting music, just wait till 8 and watch the replay. Man, you love C Shorty really like that. You like that waiting music. I see you, love C Shorty. I see in the comments. Quan Samuel, what's going on? Okay. Let's see. Good hot fix. Cheers. Yeah, we can't talk about that, but one thing I will say is that I'm happy that a lot of you guys enjoyed the hot fix for the game. I see that a lot of people enjoyed it, so we are definitely excited to see that. Okay, but that's all I'm gonna say. Zip, nothing else. Can't talk about it. If you want information on Undisputed and all that stuff, make sure to go to their socials where we drop all of the information, where we drop the information that we put a hot fix up. But good to see that you guys are enjoying it. Anyways, let's see. Hold on one second. Why is this not loading? See, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to this thing. It doesn't load on here, so I always got to kill it and then bring it back up. It's the most annoying thing. Restore, pop out chat. Let's do that again. Now I see that it's still not here. I see it. He said, just say thanks, man. Yeah, I did. I said thanks. Thank you very much. All right. Oh, let's see. That's it. Hey, listen, Quan Samuel. That doesn't mean that we're gonna go off and start talking about Undisputed. No, that's it. That's all I'm talking about. So first things first, I want to get the Sonny Edwards versus Bam Bam Rodriguez prediction out of the way. Because I want to talk about this pound for pound list. A lot of you guys have been giving me like it's been a debatable topic. It's been a debatable topic, right? So we definitely gonna talk about that. But one thing that when it comes to the Sonny Edwards Bam Bam Rodriguez fight, it is a very tight fight. Sonny unanimous decision. Sonny wins every round. It's a tight fight in the sense that it is. It's not gonna be an easy thing to get right because Bam Bam is good. He's skilled. He's shown his ability to adjust. Sonny Edwards is incredibly skilled. Sonny Edwards has shown, tremendous defensive ability and reactions. They're both, world champions. I would say that it's a close fight. It's one of the 50-50 fights that we have. It is the best fight that can be made in the flyweight division. It is literally the number one person and the number two person, with Bam Bam being considered higher ranked than Sonny Edwards. But Sonny Edwards right there, right behind him. I think that Sonny Edwards has had much more difficult fights in the flyweight division than Bam Bam Rodriguez in terms of the level of competition. And that's going to help give Sonny Edwards an edge. But also, Sonny Edwards is just incredibly talented when it comes to his defense. And with his shot selection and counter punching. Bam Bam Rodriguez can be susceptible to good counter punching. As we've seen in his last fight, although he's won, we've seen that his opponent Gonzalez was able to come off and get some good counter punching on Bam Bam Rodriguez. It's really tough to see a fight where Sonny Edwards doesn't adjust quickly or controls it throughout because of his defense. So in my opinion, I'm going to go ahead and say that as the official prediction, this is the official Boxing Fanatico prediction, that Sonny Edwards will win by unanimous decision. Of course, Sonny Edwards is probably not going to take him out. Bam Bam does better against brawlers or people that come to fight to throw a lot of punches, which is what's normally seen in the flyweight division. People throwing a lot of punches and stuff, and Bam Bam is good against those guys. But Sonny Edwards is a different type of beast. He's a flyweight, all right, but he's a defensive master at the flyweight. Usually you see a lot of high volume punching in the low weight classes, which is what makes Sonny Edwards so special down there in the flyweight division. So that is my prediction. Sonny Edwards, by unanimous decision, beating Bam Bam Rodriguez, who I think Bam Bam should be the favorite in here. If I was thinking of the general public, I would think that they would be placing Bam Bam Rodriguez as the favorite, but I could be wrong. It could be just like 50-50 or leaning towards Sonny Edwards. I would suspect that it would be leaning towards Bam Bam Rodriguez in terms of the betting odds. Okay. Now, let's talk about this pound for pound list. As a matter of fact, let me see if I could bring it up real quick. Let me see. Downloads. Here we are. Where are we? Come on now. Let me see something. Pound for pound list. Got it right here. Let's see if we could zoom into that. All right. Let me see if I could set this up somehow. Let me see. Where's the... I'm trying to find the way to split this so that I could pull it up, but I don't see the split thingy. Let's see. All right, bear with me, guys, as I build this up. Let me just build it just so that you guys can see it on the screen. Nah, I would have had to know high move Fury to the 10th spot. Better be out. I don't know, King Juice. Let me see if I could get this to work. All right, it's probably gonna be messy. Oh, here we go. We have it already. We have it right here. Let's see. We can move it a little bit so that you guys could see it. Okay, so this is my pound for pound list. So what do you guys think, for the most part, what do you guys think about the pound for pound list? I see King Juice says that he thinks it's wrong, unfortunately, okay? And that he would move Canelo higher. But the thing that, the way I see this list, I think a lot of people see the pound for pound list almost as a bleed-in with all-time accomplishments. All-time accomplishments hold a good amount of weight. It holds a good amount of weight. But does it necessarily put you at the you're the best right now category? because you did something good in the past. I don't know. I don't know because, for example, Canelo, right? The way I look at a pound for pound list is that this guy should be able to beat this guy, who should be able to beat this guy, who should be able to beat this guy, and so on and so forth when it comes to the hierarchy of this, because in a mythical sense, where if they were the same weight and just based off of their skills alone, they would be able to win the fight, right? Canelo literally lost to Dimitri Bivol. So I can't see how Dimitri Bivol would be not better than Canelo. And I don't want to hear, Canelo went up one weight class and he's been in that weight class before and he won in that weight class before. So no, I don't really want to hear that. Like, Dimitri Bivol is not a big, he's not a big light heavyweight. And he won. Dimitri Bivol beat him soundly. So in my opinion, Canelo is not better than Dimitri Bivol, and I can't just put Canelo above him because of Canelo accomplishments. Because this is not an accomplishments list. This, to me, is a list of who is better than who currently in a mythical list. It's still opinion-based because it's impossible for us to ever know, right? Like, we'll never know if Artur Beterbiev is better than Inoue. We will never definitively know. However, because of their level of opposition and the way that they perform, we could discern that there is a high likelihood that Inoue is more skilled than Artur Beterbiev. But we would never know. We would never know. Right? So what's the other thing that you guys are saying? Move Haney to 4. Right? Okay. So by the way, I put a lot of thought into I always put a lot of thought into my pound for pound list. The top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people and number 7 have all been undisputed at one point. They have been undisputed or are currently undisputed at some point. So that's important to me, right? World titles are important to me. When I see a fighter winning undisputed, what that is telling me is that every single person in their division, no one is better than them. It's undisputed that they're the best in their division. Now, you could say, well, he's weak competition, but you might think, or he's not a notable fighter, right? That's a word that gets used a lot. He's not a notable fighter. Why do people use the word he's not a notable fighter? That just really means he's not a popular fighter. He fought a non-popular fighter. But, well, fighting a popular fighter or fighting a non-popular fighter doesn't matter, because as objectively as we can make it so that we understand how good a person is in their division is if they win the world title, if they have a world title championship. And if they have a world title and then they also have another one, they're really good. If they have a third one, they're really good. And if they have all 4 of them, there is nobody better than them in the division at all. At all. And to do that requires a great amount of skills. There are people that never win a world title ever in boxing. It is not easy to just win a world title. As much as you guys say, oh, but that could be manufactured, that you still have to work within the ranking system to win a world title. You still have to work within the ranking system to win a world title. It is much easier for me to say, well, a person who has to play within the ranking system is cherry picking way less. Even if you decide to fight the WBA champion and not the WBC champion, Okay, maybe you're ducking the WBC guy or the IBF guy, but you're still fighting the best guy in the WBA rankings, and you still had to climb or earn your spot to number one to some degree. Therefore, there is a less cherry picking going on. Now, if you're just fighting anyone and everyone and you don't care about the rankings, then it's harder for me to say, well, you know, those people are deserve the fight. It's harder. Now, if you fight every single world title person, that means you are clearly the best in the division. You are not ducking anyone in the division, and you've taken every single title possible, which is what number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7 have done. Now, I've explained why I have Dimitri Bivol above Canelo, because he's beaten him. The reason that I'm looking at certain things like the undisputed titles and stuff like that is because this is a mythical list. We don't truly know. So we need to use every bit of circumstantial evidence that we can, in my opinion, to construct this list. The list cannot be a list of popularity. You will not catch me putting Gervonta Tank Davis on this list. I'm sorry. I know I've gotten so many comments. I apologize in advance. I've gotten so many comments of people telling me, yo, a list without Tank Davis on it, it doesn't make any sense. This is the worst list I've ever seen. I don't see Tank Davis on it. Tank Davis doesn't fight for world titles. Tank Davis' last 3 fights is Ryan Garcia, never won a world title, Rolly Romero, and Hector Garcia, and then Rolly Romero. Those are his last 3 fights. Those are his last 3 fights, guys. If you want to come to me and say, oh, but he's spectacular and he finishes them in spectacular fashion, I could give you a bunch of people that Artur Beterbiev right here at the bottom, number 10. He's a world champion. He has 3 world titles, and he knocks out every single person he fights. Do you believe that he is the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world? If you're asking me to put Tank on here because he knocks out everybody, but he hasn't knocked out everybody. Cruz, he didn't knock out Isaac Cruz, but you asking me to put Tank in number 3, but Artur Beterbiev is all the way down here in number 10. Make it make sense. Artur Beterbiev, every single fight, he ends it in spectacular fashion within the rankings against world champions. But we're going to put Tank because he looks spectacular against non-world champions. Hey, what's going on, Silver? What's up, brother? I just seen you there. What's going on, brother? What's up? You catching up on which videos? Here or on my other channel that we not gonna talk? Don't let nobody know what the other channel name is, please. By the way, just say this channel or other channel. What's going on, brother? It's good to see you here, man. Oh, here. Okay, cool. We're on a 13 fight prediction streak here on Boxing Fanatico, by the way. You already know, bro. You already know from the past how clean my predictions were. This is actually a friend of mine's, guys from my childhood. Still my friend, but we've moved. Like he remained in New York. I moved to Florida, but it's cool to see him here. But he knows how it be from back in the days when we used to throw fight parties in my crib. The predictions even back then was on fleek. They were high level predictions. Fanatico is real when it comes to it's always accurate. You haven't spoken about the Puerto Rican boxer from Fajardo. You talking about are you talking about Matias? We talked about him here. We talked about him already. He's cool. He's good. He's really good. But I would love to see him fight somebody, fight somebody of a really high caliber. So anyways, let's go back to you talking about Matias. You talking about Matias. He's good again, but we have to see him fight. He's knocked out, or he's made all the last 5 fighters that he's fought retire on their stool. But I want to see him fight somebody like a Teofimo Lopez, right? Or like a Devin Haney, right? I want to see those guys fight with Matias and see what he's able to do. If he could take one of those guys out, if he could beat a Teofimo Lopez, this guy is the real deal. But we're going to have to wait and see. So, Terrence Crawford, Inoue, Usyk. No Tank is going to be on my list. No Tank is going to be on my list. Hold on. What? Leo, Gamboa, Rolly, and Hector are all world champions. Tank B. I'll give you that he needs to beat Devin or Teo, but all fighters he fought are next top tier. Rolly is a current world champion, was not a world champion when he fought Tank Davis. Hector is a world champion. Hector was a world champion at a different division when he fought with Tank Davis. That don't count. Because if you in a specific division and you are fighting within the ranking system, you have to work your way up to number one. So there's a battle that you have to do, and then you have to win the world title. That is a completely different thing. That's a completely different thing. So it doesn't work that way. And just because Gamboa won a title before, it doesn't work that way. Tank has not fought for a world title. He hasn't fought for a world title. That's an important point to why he's not on this list. He's spectacular, but he hasn't fought for a world title. If you use the logic of what you're trying to say for Tank, then just because we've seen him knock people out, then Artur Beterbiev should be number one on the pound for pound list. But y'all not using that same logical consistency. Y'all not doing that. World championships within the ranking system, which means you're not cherry picking people and boom, you got a world title. No, you have to earn a world title. You're not just going to get a WBC world championship fight for just because you're the A side. There's still things that have to happen. You still have to be number one contender. You still have to work your way to that position, and then you have to win. To do that and become undisputed and clean up and take all the belts, that's a big deal. To do it for one belt is a big deal. 2 belts is even better. But Tank has done it for no belts at 135. Tank is the regular WBA champion. And when offered to move up to be the super WBA champion, he declined. He did not want the WBA world title because he just wants to select fighters so that he can have the best popular fights, which is fine. It's fine. Have the best popular fights. It's like Jake Paul versus, KSI. That's a popular fight. Does that fight technically mean anything in the landscape of boxing? No. If Tank was to have popular fights, would it mean much? When Tank fought Ryan, it didn't necessarily mean much. It wasn't a super fight, but it was a very popular fight. So, Canelo is down here because Canelo lost to Dimitri Bivol. In my opinion, Canelo has not done much to redeem his loss to Dimitri Bivol to prove to me that he should be higher. Right, his win against Jermell is not that big of a deal. In my opinion, it's not that big of a deal. It's not a big of a deal to redeem the loss to make him higher. But he's still on the list. I mean, Lomachenko lost to Devin Haney and Teofimo, and on my list, he's gone. There's people that still have him on their list, but on my list, he's gone. So, let's look at this. Terrence Crawford and Inoue, to me, can flip if you make a good enough argument for one person or the other. Terrence Crawford is the first ever male 2-time undisputed champion. He did it by beating somebody in the fight of this era, right? In the fight of this modern era versus Errol Spence Jr. And he did it in a spectacular fashion, making it look like Errol Spence should have never been in the ring with him. So, to me, that's strong enough and potent enough to give him the number one spot. However, Inoue, December 26th, will probably more than likely become the second ever male two-time undisputed champion when he beats Topless. And he pretty much destroyed Stephen Fulton as well. A fight that was considered somewhat of a 50-50 fight between Inoue and Fulton. He's also destroyed a lot of other competitors that were supposed to be good competition. So you could almost kind of flip it if you want, but I do think that Terence Crawford's performance against an Errol Spence is a better fight and performance because of the fight than Inoue versus Stephen Fulton, which gives Terence Crawford that razor thin edge over Inoue. Can Inoue do anything to put himself above Terence Crawford? Yes. If he moves up and fights Brandon Figueroa, for example, and beats Brandon Figueroa, then I would be able to move Inoue up to number one. Because it's that close. And this is very, very close. However, if Terence Crawford, for example, moves up and fights Canelo Alvarez and beats Canelo Alvarez, then maybe Inoue fighting Brandon Figueroa, well, I would know that Inoue fighting Brandon Figueroa would not be enough to move him above Terence Crawford. At this point, we will have to start talking about Terence Crawford if he was to move up and fight Canelo and beat Canelo. We would have to start talking about Terence Crawford as an all-time great. Where would he sit in the best of all time? We would have to be talking about him in the vein of a Floyd Mayweather, in the vein of a Muhammad Ali, in the vein of a Sugar Ray Robinson, and in the vein of a Sugar Ray Leonard, depending on if he was ever to do that. So when you get to those levels where we're no longer asking how good are you amongst your peers, we're asking amongst your current peers, we're asking how good are you amongst the all time. So it's that once he does that, he might solidify himself in number one and crystallize himself in number one until he retires or loses. Because then the argument that he could probably beat anybody no matter where he fights would be like cemented, because the man would have to jump 2 divisions. He'll be moving from 154 all the way up to 168. It will be crazy. It will be absolutely crazy. Inoue, I just explained why he could easily be number one. So without question, if Inoue was number one, Crawford is number two. If Crawford is number one, Inoue is number two. Alexander Usyk, the man was undisputed and won the Super Six. By the way, Inoue also won the Super Six in his division as well. But Usyk won the Super Six and was undisputed champion in the cruiserweight division. Moved up to heavyweight and won the 3 of the 4 world titles and beat Anthony Joshua twice. Outboxed Anthony Joshua twice as a little guy. He's a cruiserweight that's moving up to heavyweight. As a little guy, beat Anthony Joshua twice. He has one more fight to cement his position as the best heavyweight in the entire division when he fights Tyson Fury, which will happen. That fight is set to go, and it will happen in February. So that's a big, big fight. Usyk being undisputed in cruiserweight and winning 3 world titles in the heavyweight division already puts him, in my opinion, as third. Being undisputed is not easy, guys. That is going within the ranking system and winning world titles. It is not a cherry picking thing. You could say that you can manufacture all you want, but you still have to work within the ranking system, which mitigates cherry picking. And then you have to win a world title that somebody already owns, that somebody has, or a vacant position based off of your ranking position. A vacant title based off of your ranking position is not easy. It's easier to be like, I'll just fight this guy because he's popular. That's easy. Because Ryan is popular, but Ryan's never won a world title. That's easy. So Usyk, Inoue, Crawford all have become undisputed. Now, Teofimo Lopez. He's the one that's given people the most, like I've gotten the most pushback on. A lot of people feel that Devin Haney should be above Teofimo Lopez because of Devin Haney's performance. Now, Devin Haney's in my top 5, guys. He's in my top 5. Like, that's pretty high. Let me explain to you why I have Teofimo number 4. And I think that a lot of the big reason why is because people are just doing selective math. They're doing selective math. They're looking at Devin Haney and they're saying, well, Devin Haney beat Kambosos, therefore, Devin Haney beat Kambosos, therefore, and Kambosos beat Teofimo, therefore Devin Haney is better than Teofimo. But by that same logic, I could say Teofimo beat Lomachenko better than Devin Haney beat Lomachenko. So if we're looking at a common opponent to determine if who's better, then I could say Teofimo's better than Devin Haney because of the way he beat Lomachenko versus the way Devin Haney beat Lomachenko. Because when Teofimo beat Lomachenko, it was almost clear as day that he had beaten him. When Devin Haney beat Lomachenko, it was based off of what were the judges going to prefer more, body shots that Devin Haney was throwing or headshots that Lomachenko was throwing. It was up in the air. While for the Teofimo versus Lomachenko, it was pretty solid that Teofimo had beaten Lomachenko. It was pretty solid. The only thing we were waiting on was, were they leaning on Lomachenko because he was the star? That's it. While with the Devin Haney and Lomachenko one, it was simply like, we just don't know what's going to happen. What were the judges looking for? But even though Teofimo lost to Kambosos, his win at going to 140 and beating Josh Taylor, that win is a much more powerful win than Devin Haney beating Regis Prograis. And here's the crazy thing. Here's the crazy thing. The same people that would tell you, hey, but Devin Haney beat Kambosos, who beat Teofimo Lopez, he should be higher, are saying, like, they're saying that because of not just the Teofimo, the Kambosos win and the Loma win, but because of his recent win with Regis Prograis. Because before he fought Regis Prograis, he wasn't all the way up here. So they're talking about how he's currently performed, plus the fact that he beat Kambosos. But if you're going to look at it and create a chain logic, you also have to look at the fact that Teofimo Lopez just beat an undefeated Josh Taylor, a Josh Taylor that gave Regis Prograis his only loss. So Regis Prograis already lost to Josh Taylor at 140. Not to mention, Josh Taylor was the 140 undisputed champion. Never really lost the titles. He just lost it due to inactivity. They stripped him due to inactivity, but he was theoretically the undisputed champion. He collected all the belts and nobody took it away from him. On paper, Teofimo did not become a 2-time undisputed champion, but he did beat the guy who was undisputed that never lost the belts in the ring. A guy that was capable of becoming undisputed, he did fight that guy. And a guy who had never lost before. You could say, oh, well, what about the Jack Catterall fight? I mean, listen, he got the nod in that fight. I think personally he lost that fight, but he still got the nod. And it still doesn't erase the fact that he outboxed Regis Prograis. When Regis Prograis at the time was considered like a really dangerous fight for him, he went and fought Regis Prograis and he outboxed him. So he beat Regis Prograis already. Devin Haney just beat Regis Prograis, a person who lost to Josh Taylor, an undefeated fighter who was completely outboxed and outclassed by Teofimo Lopez. So in my opinion, sure, he lost to Kambosos, but he had a better performance against Lomachenko than Devin Haney did. So that gives me a little bit more pause to put Devin Haney above Teofimo. And Teofimo beat Josh Taylor, who was undefeated and already beat Regis Prograis, which is the fight that Devin Haney just completed right now. So just because somebody has a loss does not mean that you cannot redeem that loss. Teofimo Lopez, in my opinion, by beating Josh Taylor and beating him the way he beat him, redeemed the loss to Kambosos. You could redeem your loss. Canelo redeemed his loss to Floyd Mayweather when Canelo continued to move up and beat Kovalev and beat all these guys and keep on racking up the wins and beating Caleb Plant. In my opinion, Canelo redeemed his loss to Floyd Mayweather. You're not condemned to forever be low on the pound for pound list because you lost. It's what you do after your loss. Heck, if it was just because of losses and we shouldn't care about the fighters anymore, then Lomachenko shouldn't have. No one should have cared about Lomachenko winning against Gary Russell Jr. and winning a world title in his third fight, because Lomachenko lost his second fight, but he won a world title in his third fight. Nobody would care about that. It'll be like, oh, well, who cares? Don't put him on the pound for pound list because he lost to Orlando Salido. But he beat Gary Russell Jr., an undefeated beast at the time. So you can redeem your losses. You can 100% redeem your losses. And I think that Teofimo Lopez did that and then some by beating an undefeated Josh Taylor at 140 and becoming a world champion and beating a guy who was formerly the undisputed champion at the time. And also, Teofimo Lopez was undisputed. I know people want to say he wasn't because of technicalities. He wasn't, but he was. Lomachenko collected the WBC belt, collected the WBO belt, collected the IBF belt, and then fought for the WBA, which is what Teofimo had, and then Teofimo beat him. Just because Lomachenko was elevated to franchise champion, franchise WBC champion, and then the vacant regular WBC belt was given to Devin Haney, does not mean that he wasn't the one who actually worked for the WBC belt. People are going to use technicalities to discredit Teofimo Lopez, but in the actual technical technically, he beat the guys to collect those belts. And Devin Haney was given that belt at that time. Now, Devin Haney, another one. The reason I don't have him on top of Teofimo, I've already explained it, but the reason I have him at number 5 is because of his performance with Regis Prograis. One of the best defensive performances that we've seen, especially in the modern times, where Regis Prograis literally landed the least amount of punches in the history of the sport's CompuBox record. I see a lot of people saying, oh, he landed the least amount in the history ever of the sport, ever. That is not true, because we don't know. You have to say, with a caveat, you have to say the least amount ever landed in CompuBox record. So since CompuBox was established, which was about 30-something years ago. So we don't know, we don't know if somebody else, like maybe Willie Pep has somebody land barely any shots on him. We don't know. We don't know. But he definitely had an amazing performance. He definitely had an amazing performance against Regis Prograis. Was also undisputed. Devin Haney was also undisputed at 135. He did his thing. Beat Lomachenko regardless of how it happened. He beat Lomachenko. And that, to me, after the Regis Prograis fight, because it also shows he moved from 135, went to 140, and had a great performance at 140, it shows that he's already, like, he went from one division to the next and into a world championship fight. That's high caliber stuff right there. And then won it in spectacular fashion. So that's why I have him here. Dimitri Bivol is number 6 simply because he's super skillful. You see it with all the fights that he has against everybody. And he's a small light heavyweight, by the way, guys, but he's still hanging in there fighting all these light heavyweights. And he completely dismantled Canelo Alvarez, who was, before that fight, was around the top here. He was like number 1 or number 2. Completely dismantled Canelo Alvarez. And to me, this list is basically a list of, can you beat the person below you? I believe that Dimitri Bivol can beat Canelo because of one simple reason. He actually already did that. And he didn't do it. He didn't get a lucky punch. He didn't put his weight on top of Canelo. He just outboxed Canelo. Canelo couldn't figure him out the entire time. Now, we have Canelo here because he's Canelo. You know, this is the guy that beat Caleb Plant. This is the guy that, knocked out Kovalev at light heavyweight. This is the Canelo is Canelo Alvarez, right? We don't have him here because of popularity. He's also undisputed. He's also undisputed at 168. So we don't have him here because of popularity. We have him here because he's proven himself. He's proven himself. However, because he lost to Dimitri Bivol, it knocks him down to 7th. And I don't think that he's had a fight that has helped redeemed himself from Dimitri Bivol. His fight with Ryder was very questionable. It was a very questionable fight. His fight with Jermell was pretty good, but Jermell came from 154. So there's a lot of question marks now for Canelo Alvarez, in my opinion. There's a lot of question marks out there for Canelo Alvarez. However, Canelo Alvarez is still good enough to me to stay on this list. Jumpman, what's going on? Yo, Fanatico, sorry I've been late trying to work on things lately, but did you hear about the new Playboy Cardi? The new Playboy Cardi, it's fire. I've not heard it. No. But I'll throw it on when I'm working out, because after this I'm gonna do my workout. I'll throw it on to listen to it to see what it is. And then we have David Benavidez under Canelo Alvarez. David Benavidez has gone on a tear this year. This is his year. When we were talking in the last episode on Wednesday, when we were talking about who's the fighter of the year, I selected. Yeah, of course I think Terrence Crawford deserves the number 1 spot. What are you talking about? Well, I just explained why, but yes, of course, I definitely believe that he deserves the number 1 spot. But I selected David Benavidez as the fighter of the year because he's fought 2 big fights. He fought Caleb Plant and he fought Boo Boo Andre, and he did spectacularly against both. He adjusted to Caleb Plant intelligently, won the fight, and he completely dismantled Boo Boo Andre and got the knockout. So David Benavidez has been making a big name for himself. No one has ever really beaten David Benavidez. He's hadn't had trouble in any of his fights, and the man has cleaned everybody out other than Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is the only other fighter that he needs to fight. If he beats Canelo Alvarez, we're going to have to start thinking about where we put him up in here. Who's going to get moved and bumped out of here? Devin Haney had a great year. I want to see what him and Shakur does next year. 100%. So that's why I have David Benavidez right below Canelo Alvarez. So he's right on his tail. And, of course, a fight with him will tell us where David Benavidez stands. If he beats Canelo, it's going to be a really big deal. It's going to be incredibly impactful. It's going to create a big butterfly effect for this pound-for-pound list. Fire, what's going on, brother? What's up? And Jean-Luc Sugar, what's going on? What's going on, brother? Shakur Stevenson, number 9. Shakur Stevenson, number 9, because Shakur Stevenson, and it's not just because he's my favorite fighter. He is my favorite fighter, yes. But it's not just because of that. Shakur Stevenson has fought notable fighters, right? People that people know. He's fought Oscar Valdez. He's fought Jamel Herring. But he's also a 3-division world champion. So Shakur Stevenson fights within the ranking system. And although the new popular thing is to be undisputed, to clean up, he's fighting arguably the best guys in the division before he moves on to the next one. He's fighting arguably the best guys, right? Oscar Valdez was arguably the best guy at 130 before he moved up to 135. He was arguably the best person to fight for a world title. And Shakur Stevenson did that. Shakur Stevenson also beat Jamel Herring in the same division. So he unified at 130. He didn't become undisputed, but he unified. And he's the fastest fighter, the second fastest fighter to win a world title. the second fastest fighter to win a world title. Not to mention the fact that he's an Olympic silver medalist, which carries weight. We've seen Olympic gold medalists and how they perform, and silver medalists and how they perform in boxing. Bronze medalists, right? Muhammad Ali, gold medalist. How did he perform in boxing? Andre Ward, a gold medalist, right? That's a big tell of how good they can be in the sport. Floyd Mayweather, a bronze medalist. Roy Jones, a silver medalist, right? We know Alexander Usyk, a gold medalist, right? We know how people are, that there are carryover to being able to beat everybody on the international level and climb all the way to the top to make it to an Olympic medal. We know that has weight to it because we see it, the case studies that we see of people winning Olympic medals and what they do in the sport after they win an Olympic medal. We see that there's a consistent narrative there on how good they can actually be in terms of their technical skills in the sport. And Shakur Stevenson is still continuing that consistent narrative. It doesn't always happen, but there is some type of connective tissue to how good you are in the amateur circuit, and there's no better representation of how good you are in the amateur circuit than winning an Olympic medal. That is the highest thing you can do in the amateurs. There's the Golden Gloves, there's winning national tournaments, there's winning international tournaments. All of that pales in comparison to winning an Olympic medal because the pool is bigger and it's harder, much harder to climb that ladder to making it to even a bronze medal. It's very, very difficult. Prince, I like this list. I dropped Shakur off mine though. I got Bam higher than Shakur. I don't have Bam that high. I don't think Bam has done enough to be high on the list, really. But that's just my opinion. And Beterbiev was getting clocked all night long by a slow Yarde as he moves up like he's stuck in the mud. True, but he still got the knockout. He was getting clocked, but he still got the knockout at the end of the day. I mean, that sometimes like that's how your style works because your power is that much of an eraser, right? You might be able to take more shots, or you're willing to take more shots because you understand that you have that eraser power. Lara Woodard, as good as Tank is, he just hasn't shown us that talent against a top opponent. Exactly. That's exactly my point. I mean, I got a lot of pushback for not having Tank on the list, but that's my point. That is my point. And then we end at Artur Beterbiev at number 10. To me, Artur Beterbiev, he's a lineal champion, a unified champion. He carries 3 of the 4 belts in the light heavyweight division. The only other person that has the other belt is Dmitry Bivol. I personally believe that Dmitry Bivol will beat Artur Beterbiev if they fought, which makes this list even more consistently logical because of where his position is over Artur Beterbiev. However, Artur Beterbiev has knocked out 100% of everyone he's fought while also collecting 3 world titles. That is not easy to do. It's easy to knock everybody out and just fight for 1 world title and defend that title and knock people out and always keep knocking people out, or fight for no titles and just keep picking different people and knocking them out. That's easy to do. To stay within the ranking system and defeat all these guys and still have a 100% knockout ratio is not easy to do. However, I do believe that if they finally fought in the light heavyweight super fight that we've been waiting for a long time, if they finally fought, I do believe that Dmitry Bivol will outbox Artur Beterbiev. But this is my list, and that is my reasoning behind everyone on the list and why I have them there and why I don't have them higher than others. I don't have Shakur Stevenson higher than Devin Haney because Devin Haney, although he's only a 2-division champion, he has become undisputed already. He has beaten a high-caliber fighter in Lomachenko. He's beaten a decent fighter in Regis Prograis. I do think that Oscar Valdez and Regis Prograis are kind of on the same level in terms of like impact, difficulty. But Shakur Stevenson doesn't have a Lomachenko type win, right? And he's never been undisputed. So, but what he does have, the feather in the cap that he does have, is he's done 3 divisions, and he's the second fastest world champion in the sport's history, only behind Lomachenko, but he did it without a loss. Lomachenko did it with a loss. His second fight, he lost to Orlando Salido, and in his third fight, he became a world champion. So Shakur Stevenson was able to do it without losing, which is incredibly impressive. David Benavidez had a tear this year, which put him in that list for me. And, Teofimo Lopez, Usyk, Inoue, Crawford, all undisputed. Crawford's the only 2-time undisputed. Putting him at number 1 was not that hard for me to do. So there you go. That's my list. That is the reason why I have my list like this. And that's it. That now it's explained. Now people understand. If anybody has any questions, they could just come to this live video here, because this video will be on demand the entire time. Let's switch over right quick.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Let's see. When is the Jake Paul fight? I got to check that out. When's the Jake Paul fight? What time is the Jake Paul fight? Let's see. Fight time. The Jake Paul fight is what time? It's not telling me the time here. Anybody know? Main event starts at 10:30. 10:30, 8 p.m. Oh, okay, so it's about to start. And the main event starts at 10:30. All right, that's cool. We're gonna definitely watch that fight. We're definitely gonna watch that fight. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Who do you want Tank to fight next year? I would love for Tank to fight Devin Haney. I hear that there's talks about that, but there's probably no. I'm not gonna do a watch party for the fight. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm hoping that there's a big, like, if he fights Isaac Cruz in a rematch, I think that will be a huge waste of time. That's a huge waste of time. Maybe they're going to spin it like, well, I've knocked out, the people that I fought, but I haven't knocked out Isaac Cruz. I would love to knock out Isaac Cruz, but really, I don't care to see it. I would much prefer he fight a Teofimo Lopez or a Devin Haney or a Shakur Stevenson. All of those fights just seem very far-fetched because of the way they move. Tank Davis, the fact that they don't care about world titles and stuff like that is gonna make those type of fights tough. But those are the fights that I would love to see Tank Davis in. I would love to see Tank Davis fight those guys. If Tank Davis could fight a Lomachenko, that would be amazing. But I just don't see any of that stuff happening. You think Bam, in my opinion, Bam has not fought a person that was better than Jamel Herring or Oscar Valdez. In my opinion, I don't think that Bam Rodriguez has fought a better one of those guys. Now, if he fights Sonny, when he fights Sonny tomorrow, then he would have fought somebody better than those guys. And if he wins, it would definitely put him on the list, in my opinion. But I'm predicting that Sonny Edwards is going to win that fight. But that's just my opinion. I don't think that he's fought. He only holds 1 world title, while Beterbiev holds 3 world titles. Right, Shakur is a 3-division champion. So has Bam Rodriguez done decently? Yes. Is he, in my opinion, has he fought someone better than Shakur and Beterbiev? I would say no. He's fought a notable guy, one guy I think that was super notable. Gonzalez was pretty decent, the recent fight that he had, but I don't think that those guys is better than the Oscar Valdez and a Jamel Herring. And with Shakur being 3 divisions, unifying at 135, and moving up and winning the WBC World Championship. I can't see Bam being better than Shakur, to be honest. Shakur has had, I don't know why, to a lot of people, it feels like Shakur hasn't had a high-level competition because he destroys everybody, but he's been fighting within the rankings and has been winning world titles in 3 divisions. As I said, he's the second fastest to ever win a world title in boxing history, and he did it without a loss. While Lomachenko did it in 3 fights, he did it with a loss. So for Shakur to do what he's been doing is very telling. The only thing he's not done, which he could have easily done at 135, was become a undisputed. But he beat the best guy at 135, which was considered Oscar Valdez. He could have easily become undisputed if he wanted to, but he left the division. He couldn't make the weight and left the division and moved up to at 130. He left the division, moved up to 135. But in my opinion, if he would have stayed at 130, the other 2 titles, he would have easily captured those titles. And he could have easily have become undisputed at 130. So I disagree. I disagree with Bam being better than Shakur Stevenson, in my opinion. I would love to see Tank fight for the WBO belt. He's not fighting for no belt. My man's not fighting for no belt. He's not fighting for no belt. I'll tell you that. I see what you mean. I think Robin V-side win is the best out of all of the 3. I don't think because Robin V-side, yeah, he was a good fighter. He was a good action-packed fighter. He beat Chocolatito, which was a big deal. But I think his claim to fame was his win against Chocolatito. I think that was his claim to fame. I don't think that was decent, but I've also seen Bam struggle, right? I've seen Bam struggle a little bit with Gonzalez, right? It's a good fight. It's a good win for sure. I'm not taking it away from him, but I don't think it's better than winning against a Jamel Herring and against Oscar Valdez and being 3-time 3-division champion. You get what I'm saying? It's the constant build of all of the different things. It's all of the different things that Shakur has done in comparison to what Bam Rodriguez has done. Shakur has consistently had the more notable opponents. Yeah, and it's not even notable opponents. It's just beating the number 1 guys. Beating the number 1 guys in the division, winning the world titles, and doing it so effectively and quickly. Efficiently and quickly, the way he's been doing it. I feel like people think Shakur hasn't fought anybody because he has in those lower divisions. Since 135 was star-studded, nobody really paid attention to anything lower except real fans. That's another thing too, right? People, because you don't know someone, you might think, well, he's not a notable fighter. He might not be notable in the sense that he's not a famous fighter, but it's still a better fight. It's still a good fight because he's a world champion. He's beating a world champion. And I've explained this before on the live. Beating a world champion is not easy because you have to play within the ranking system to do it. You have to become number 1 contender. You have to do a lot of things to be able to pull that off. So it's not an easy thing to do. So for Shakur Stevenson to do it in 3 divisions, to do it in such a quick way, to be the second fastest to win a world title, that's difficult. That's difficult. And Oscar Valdez, he was a notable guy. He was the guy at 130. He was the guy at 130. And Shakur Stevenson dethroned him very easily. So, all right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the Sonny Edwards, not Sonny Edwards, the Jake Paul fight. If you guys are gonna watch it, are you guys even gonna watch it? I'm gonna watch it because whatever, might as well. Team Sonny all the way. Let's go. I think Sonny's gonna be able to outbox. He's gonna be able to outbox Bam Bam Rodriguez because we've seen Bam Bam. You got Bam Bam by unanimous decision though. I seen Bam Bam get. Frustrated in there and counterpunched well. I think that one of the best counterpunchers in the flyweight division is Sonny Edwards. I think he'll be able to give Bam Bam a lot of trouble. He's gonna give Bam Bam a lot of trouble. So we're gonna have to wait and see. But I personally believe that Sonny Edwards will win by unanimous decision, which is my official prediction, by the way. Let's see if we move. Let's see if we move to 14 predictions in a row, because that's gonna be crazy if we move to 14 predictions in a row. What? Stop playing. You know what I mean? Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and end it right there. We've hit the mark. We hit right on 8 p.m. I hope you guys enjoyed the live. Of course, as always, we are live Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you hit the like button on this video and make sure you hit the subscribe button and all notifications, because whenever we go live, you'll know. You'll see the notifications. Just in case you forgot, bing, it's going to notify you right on your phone, and you'll be able to come here and watch us live or just hear us like a podcast while you're exercising or, doing whatever you want to do. And we shadow drop videos all the time. You never know. Sometimes I talk about Grand Theft Auto 6. Sometimes I talk about a new boxing video game that you're not expecting, because that's what we do. We're the boxing video game connoisseur over here at Boxing Fanatico. We still don't stop. We still haven't stopped doing that. What you mean? We going to keep on doing that, right? We're going to keep on trying to talk to different developers and all that stuff to ensure that we are up to date on all the cool boxing video games that are coming out. So hit the subscribe button for that as well, which is, what you guys love this channel for. I know that. And then we also talk about in real life boxing videos as well, or boxing content. So that's another important element to this channel. We do it all when it comes to boxing, and a little bit of spillover when it comes to video games as well. All right. Until the next one, guys, peace out, and I'll see you on Monday.